Hi, boys and girls. All right. This is your practice sentences from your book. This is mixing between patterns 1 and 2. And the reason why I wanted to make this video and have you watch it is so that you can see the difference between pattern 1 and 2 when they're mixed together like this. Okay, I think some of you are maybe having some issues prior. So hopefully this will help clear up a little bit of confusion. Okay, so you can do this with me, like along with me. If you have your sentences in front of you, just start going and working through it with me. Or you can always do it on your own and then watch the video to check your work. Another thing you could do is maybe do like sentence 1 with me, and then once you're like, oh, I got this, and try and do 2 and 3 or something on your own, and then just like fast forward the video or watch the rest of the video so that you can check your work and see if you got your answers right. Okay, so either way, it's just kind of a way for you to self-check. All right, so I'm going to go through it with you. Let's start with number 1. Okay, the squirrels in our yard collected nuts and acorns for the winter. Again, super important at this point to find prepositional phrases first because it's going to shorten our sentence and it's going to make it a lot less confusing. So we just want to have our base sentence so that we know what we're working with. Okay, so first preposition I see is in. So I'm going to label, let me start that over. It's a little harder to write on my iPad with my finger. So in is my preposition. Then in what? In our yard, object of the preposition, OP. Okay, in my parenthesis. And then our is saying whose yard? Our yard. So it's a possessive pronoun adjective. Okay. Then another prepositional phrase I see is for the winter, because for is a preposition. So for what? For the winter. Make sure you add your parentheses. And then the is an article adjective. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, so now we'll start with finding our subject noun. So what we have left is the squirrels collected nuts and acorns. Okay, so who is the sentence about, or what is the sentence about? Squirrels. Subject noun, SN. Okay, now we'll say what's being said about the squirrels. The squirrels collected. That is our verb, V. Now, after collected, usually we look for adverbs, right? That say how, when, or where. Well, we have the words nuts and acorns. Now, those aren't going to answer how, when, or where. But I noticed that nuts is a noun and acorns is a noun. So that's going to tell me that it's going to actually be some sort of object. Well, I know it's not an object of the preposition because it's not in a prepositional phrase. So the only other object is a direct object, okay? Also, my verb, if it is transferring the action to the object, then I know it's going to be a direct object as well. So collected what? Collected nuts and acorns. Okay, so that means my verb is transferring the action to nuts and acorns. Those are both my direct objects. They are nouns that are getting the action of being collected. Now I see that in between them we have and, which is a conjunction, and there are 2 of them, so that must mean that they are compound. So you have to put COD. You can have compound direct objects. Okay? And then the last word I have at the way beginning of the sentence is the. We know that's an article adjective. It is a declarative sentence. Let's see. The squirrels in our yard. So in our yard actually goes with the squirrels. So I'm going to divide right here. Sorry, it's kind of sloppy. And then here's my complete subject, and here's my complete predicate. Then my pattern is actually subject, noun, verb, transitive. On the bottom, you write direct object, pattern 2. All right. So hopefully that made sense. If I went too fast for you, then just the nice thing about having a video is you can pause it, you can rewind, you can go back through it if you need to a second time. So hopefully you can kind of just do it at your own pace. Okay, let's take a look at sentence number 2. For the trip, I packed an extra blanket and pillow for us. All right, let's look for prepositional phrases. First one I see is for the trip. So for is a preposition. Trip is the object of the preposition. So for what? For the trip. The is an article adjective. Okay. The other prepositional phrase I see is for us. For is a preposition. Us is the object of the preposition. In this case, it is a pronoun, not a noun, which is okay because objects of the preposition can be either. Okay, so for us. Looks like that's all I have. Okay, so let's read what I have left. I packed an extra blanket and pillow. Okay, so who is the sentence about? Or what is the sentence about? I. The sentence about I, which is a pronoun, so it's a subject, pronoun, SP. Sorry, that's sloppy. Okay, so what's being said about the subject? I packed. Verb, be. Okay, so now let's see if it's transferring its action to any nouns after it. So packed what? Well, we packed a blanket and a pillow. So looks like we have direct objects again. So that means it's transferring its action. So it's a verb, transitive. And it's transferring its action to the blanket and the pillow. So I have two direct objects again, and I have a conjunction in between. So again, I have compound direct objects. And then we have an extra blanket. So an is one of our article adjectives. Remember a, an, and the. So that's an article adjective. Extra. So now remember, blanket is a noun because it's direct object. So it's probably going to be an adjective modifying. So like what kind of blanket? An extra blanket. Okay, so A, D, J. Or how many extra? I think it'd probably be what kind. But either way, it's an adjective. Okay. All right. So we classified all of our words. Now we're going to divide between I and packed. I is the complete subject, so I'll have to quick underline that. And then for the trip is actually part of my complete predicate because it talks about for what they packed for. Okay, so that has to be double underlined. So the complete subject is just I. And then it is a declarative sentence. Again, your pattern, subject, noun, verb, transitive, direct object, pattern, two. Okay, all right, last one. My aunt and uncle will drive to Utah for a visit with their son and his family. Okay, so we have to Utah, prepositional phrase. To what? To Utah. For is another preposition. For a what? For visit. Object of the preposition. Article adjective. With what? Well, let's take a look. Hold on. With their son and his family. So with what? Son and family. So with is our preposition. Son and family are our nouns that are objects of the preposition. This one's a little tricky because we have our conjunction. Now remember, we want the objects of the prepositions to be nouns. So that's why I said son and family. So with who or with what? With who? Son and family. And there's a conjunction between them. So they are compound. So we have with their sons. Whose sons? Theirs. So a possessive pronoun adjective. And then whose family? His family. Again, possessive. So possessive pronoun adjective. Okay. All right, I think we're done with prepositional phrases. So now let's see what we have left. My aunt and uncle will drive. Okay, so who is the sentence about, or what is the sentence about? Well, who is it about? It's about the aunt and uncle. So we have subject noun, SN, subject noun, SN, and there's a conjunction between. So that must mean they are compound. So what's being said about the subject? The aunt and uncle will drive. So we have a helping verb and our main verb. Okay, and then we have the word my. So whose aunt and uncle? My aunt and uncle. Again, another possessive pronoun adjective. Now this one, some students might get confused because they think, oh, well, there are nouns after it. But that's why it is so important to do the prepositional phrases first so that you see that those are actually objects of the preposition and they're not direct objects. So this sentence actually has no direct objects. It's a pattern one sentence, okay? So we're done. No direct objects in this one because all of our nouns after the verb are actually in prepositional phrases. So we don't have to worry about it. Okay. So I'm going to divide between my complete subject and complete predicate. And it a declarative sentence. And for my pattern, subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, like I said, rewatch the video, slow it down, pause it, and let me know if you have any questions. Contact me during my office hour times or give me a call or text me. So hope that made sense. Thanks, guys.